So
This
this recording will be
conference will
shared to
now
you
be recorded.
after this session. Okay. So this course is all about the LoadRunner tool, which is one of the benchmark tool within performance testing. Okay. So I will write today's agenda first here. Okay, and then we'll discuss one by one. So the first point what we will be discussing is what is performance testing. Okay, and then load runner architecture, because that's the tool we have to discuss, right? And then a simple or a sample example, or you can say an example of how to record scripts, okay, and run. And then we will discuss about the course content completely, course content and duration and all those things, and then followed by question and answers. Okay, so this is our agenda for today. Now, coming to the first point, what is performance testing? Before I explain you that, I would like to explain you one slide which is related to the software testing, because this performance testing is also a part of the software testing, right? So, and software testing in turn is a part of the software development life cycle. That means when a product is developed, right? So it will go through different phases, right? First, it will be requirements, then design, then development, like that, then testing, and so on. So testing is our space, like, where we test the application. So within the software testing, we can categorize into functional testing and non-functional testing. Very important categorization for today's session. So what do you mean by functional testing here? So if you see the definition of functional testing, it says testing the functionality of the application. To keep it simple, it's all about testing the functionality of the application, right? And here you have different types of testing like regression testing, integration testing, and so on. The tools that we use to test to test these are Selenium, UFT, etc. So these tools are primarily focused on testing the functionality. Okay, testing the functionality. On the other side, you have non-functional testing. So what do you mean by this non-functional testing? It's all about focusing on the non-functional aspects of the application, like performance, security, etc. So if you see the performance testing, the tools that we use for performance testing are like LoadRunner, Jmeter, etc. There are many tools in the market, but these two are most widely used tools. Okay, so performance testing is coming under non-functional testing, guys. Okay, it's coming under non-functional testing. So for example, let's say you have an application. Okay, so let's say you have an application. One small second. Okay, so let's say you have an application. This is a sample application, guys. Now, coming to the functional testing perspective, how a functional tester would test this? For example, take the login part or login functionality. So I would like to test, as a functional tester, I would like to test the functionality of login. So what would I do here? First, I would launch the application. Of course, this is the URL. I will hit this URL on the browser and I will launch the browser, right? And then I will go and enter the username and password. Okay, and then click on login button. I will click on login button. So when I click on login button, the login is successful here, and you could see that I'm able to navigate to home page. That I'm on the home page now. Login is successful. You see, welcome. Now I can click on sign off button. That means I logged off. So what did I test now? I tested the functionality part. For what? The login functionality. So for login, if I have to test login, what did I do? I just launched the browser. and then I logged in, and then I logged off. So what was I actually testing? I was testing that when I enter a valid username and password here, and click on login button, am I able to enter to home page, or am I able to enter login successfully? That's what I was testing as a functional tester. But as a performance tester, I'm not interested, or I'm not primarily focused on testing the functionality aspect. As a performance tester, I am more focused on testing how fast I was able to log in. How fast I was able to log in. For example, again I launched the application, and then I entered username and password, and I clicked on login button. Then, as a performance tester, I'm more interested in how fast I'm able to navigate to this page, how fast I'm able to, you know, uh, land on this page after clicking on sign in button, right? So the performance tester's primary focus is, okay, testing the performance of the application, how fast the pages are loading, how fast the application is responding, right? You might have got some idea now, right? So if you let's discuss about a general example. So let's take a lift. Okay, let's take a lift. Oh, of course, we all use lift at various places, at home, maybe at offices or somewhere else. So you generally, if you want to test the lift, what would you do? You enter the lift. Maybe you press 4 button. Let's say you want to go to 4th floor. You press 4 button. So as a functional tester, if you press 4 button, it should take you to the 4th floor, isn't it? Okay, it should take you to the 4th floor. For example, there's a small button over here, 4, and if you press on it, it would take you to the 4th floor. It should take you to the 4th floor. Okay, so that is functionality aspect. Now coming to the performance aspect, if you press 4th button, how fast it is taking you to the 4th floor? Okay, how much time it is taking you to the 4th floor is about the performance aspect. Right? Now, based on this, I would like to conclude the performance testing with a small, simple definition. So performance testing is all about checking the behavior or performance of an application, okay, by applying some load. So this is a simple definition, what you can use, generic definition, checking the behavior or performance of an application by applying some load. So why I wrote application? Because generally we test websites, right? Applications, web pages, and all these things. So, and the important point is by applying some load. For example, take the lift again. So if you take the lift example again, so if you press the 4th button, that means you enter into the lift, you press 4 button, you should go to 4th floor. How fast it is going to 4th floor is important for us. Yes, it is important because we have to see the performance of the lift. But when you are alone inside the lift, how fast it is going doesn't matter. When the lift is full, that means when the lift is occupied by, let's say, some 10 people, which is max for the lift. When lift is occupied by 10 people, and if you press 4 button, how fast it is going to 4th floor? What is the performance of it? Is it stucking there itself, or is it going to 4th floor? If it is going, is it going smoothly? Is there any problem? Okay, how fast it is going? That is checking the performance of the, okay, lift, right? So that means when you test any application or when you test any website, you have to test the performance of that website or application by applying some load. Load means some number of users. Like I told you, right? If you want to check the performance of the lift, you cannot go and check the performance alone. You have to test the performance of the lift by applying the maximum load. Let's say the maximum load that the lift can take is 10 people. So 10 people should go inside and press 4 button and see how fast it is going. Is there any problem now, going to the 4th floor? Okay, or is it really going to fourth floor, or is it not working? Is it working? What exactly is happening there? Okay, how fast it is going? So that is about performance. That is about performance, right? Now you might have got some idea about what is the performance. What is the performance testing? So simple, very simple definition: checking the behavior or performance of an application by applying some load. Here, don't forget, applying some load means by some users. You cannot test anything single, like, on your own. If you test with a single user or single person, it doesn't fall under performance testing. You have to test that application with some number of users. Okay, what is that number? We will see later, but some load should be applied on that, right? Now, what happens if we don't do performance testing? Generally, why performance testing is important? What happens if you don't go for performance testing? What could happen? Okay, so, and what is the primary reason for performance testing? Why performance testing? If you see the first point, it says clearly the goal of the performance testing is to find performance bottlenecks rather than finding functional bugs. See, generally, why do we do performance testing is to find any issues with respect to performance, right? If the bottlenecks means issues only here. Okay, but in performance testing terminology, we call issues as bottlenecks. So to find performance issues, we do performance testing. We are not focused on finding functional bugs, functional issues. We are primarily focused on finding performance issues only. Performance issues. What happens if we don't do performance testing? There can be a huge loss to the business. For example, I don't know how many of you remember, in fact, I think exactly in 2013 or 2014, one of the major e-commerce, application launched the big sale, the big billion sale or big sale, something like that, for the very first time in 2013 or 2014. So what happened on that day is they announced the big sale at 12 p.m. Okay, and then when all with so many offers, and then when so many users logged into that particular application or website at the same point of time at 12 p.m., the application crashed. The application crashed. Okay, that means there could be a huge loss. They did not do the performance testing properly, or they did not anticipate those number of users. If they would have anticipated, they would have tested the application for those many number of users. Okay, so what they should do, they should test the application, okay, before launching any such offers. Okay, so what they should test whether the application is able to withstand that amount of load. So general times, let's say 10,000 people generally use that e-commerce website. When you announce a big sale, what will happen? 1 lakh or 2 lakh people, maybe they will try to purchase something, or because there are some offers. So what you should do, what you should see as from the business perspective, you should be able to see that your application is able to withstand the amount of load, okay, when you announce some big sale. Okay, so without performance testing, the application or the business can incur a huge loss, financial loss. Okay, so if anyone is using some application, and if it is not responding properly, will you continue to use that? For example, take any email. Okay, take any email. Now you received some email. You clicked on that email to read. Now what happened? That email is not opening, or it is opening after 1 minute or 2 minutes. Your email is opening, but after 1 minute or 2 minutes. Once you click on your email subject, it is opening the complete email in one minute. Is it okay for you? Not okay, right? Not okay, right? So what will you do? You will try to switch to alternative email providers. That means whatever the current email you are using, if you are switching to some other email, that will be a loss to the current provider, right? Right. So from the business perspective, they should see that their applications should not be slow. If the application is slow, if it is responding too slow, if you click a button, if the page is loading, okay, what will happen? The users will get irritated or frustrated. They might not use the application again. For example, you are trying to book a bus from some website, you are trying to book a bus. You search it for the buses. When you try to book a bus, it is loading. You clicked on book ticket, it is loading. It's not even going to next page. Or it is going, but after 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Is it okay for you? No, right? So what will you do? You simply switch over to some other website, okay, and try to book a ticket from that website. So that means that is a loss for this provider, right? So nowadays the main focus is on performance. Now every user wants to see the next page as and when you click it. If you click on it, it should load in a fraction of second or in 1 second or 2 seconds. It cannot take at least 10 seconds also, it should not take. So there is a standard now, actually there is a business industry standard that when you click a button or when you click a link, it should navigate from one page to another page within 2 seconds. You got my point? So when you click a button, okay, it should navigate from one page to another page in 2 seconds. That is the industry standard now. Okay, so whenever you test, you should be testing like that. For example, you see here, if I click on flights button here, when I click on flights button, that page should load in 2 seconds like this. If it's taking 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, what will happen? It's of no use. The customer will get irritated. You might lose the customer. The business, the product owners, okay, might lose customers, right? So that's the reason performance testing is very, very, very important. Without performance testing, the applications will not be sent to real users for usage. Okay, so first it has to undergo the complete performance testing phase, and then only it will be sent to production. Production in sense where the real users actually use the applications. Okay, they should not complain about the performance of an application in the real time. Okay, if they do, if that happens, there will be a huge loss. That's the reason. So now with that, we understood about what is the performance testing at a high level. We understood in detail about what is performance testing. I clearly wrote a simple definition of it. I clearly explained you why it is important also. Okay, now when we say about performance testing, we have different tools in the market. We have different tools in the market to test, to go for performance testing. But LoadRunner is a benchmark tool in the market, which has so many features and so many things, advantages when compared to other tools. Okay, that's the reason it is called benchmark tool in the market. Uh, Before we discuss further, I would like to explain you the LoadRunner architecture first, and then I would like to explain you about a small a sample recording of a script and running of a script. Okay, so let's see the LoadRunner architecture. And okay, so let me open this particular slide. Okay, so this LoadRunner architecture, I would like to derive it by asking you a few questions. Okay, when I say asking you, I mean we will ask some questions, and from those questions we will derive the architecture. For example, I have some application. Generally, take any application, take any banking website, take any banking website. Now, if I ask you to test this bank website, okay, what would you do? Well, let's say I asked you to test the bank website with 500 people. That means, what I mean is, when 500 people are using the bank application at the same point of time, that means out of 500 people, maybe some users they will transfer money, some users they will pay credit card bill, some users they will download the bank statement, like that. They can do different actions on the application, right? So when 500 people are working on the bank application, how it is responding, I want you to test. You to test. Okay. So I told you, right? When you apply some load, then only it is called performance testing. So if a single user is working on the bank website, then it is not called as performance testing because you are the only one. Then obviously performance will be little better. When more number of people are working on the website or any application, then you have to see the the check the performance, right? So here I'm asking you to, let's say, test the bank application with 500 users. Okay, so how would you do that? Will you bring 500 people and give them 500 laptops or 500 desktops and make them sit at one place and ask them to uh, launch this bank application and start working on it at the same point of time? Is it possible? Will you be able to bring 500 people and assign them 500 laptops and make them sit at one place and and within one network and ask them to perform some actions on the bank application? May be possible, but with huge amount of investment. You cannot bring 500 people. You cannot assign them 500 laptops. Okay, let's say they have done that also. But what if I ask you to test the performance of the bank application with 5,000 users? Will you bring 5,000 people and give them 5,000 laptops? No, right? Practically not possible. For that, we need to have a component, okay, which will simulate or generate virtual users for us. These virtual users are also no, also does the same thing like what a real human user do. Okay, so here, that component is called load generator. So load generator is a component which will simulate the virtual users for us. Okay, instead of bringing the real users and assigning them laptops and all, there is a component within this LoadRunner architecture which will simulate the virtual users for us. So these load generators are also nothing but machines only, some highly configured machines. Like when I say highly configured, like maybe RAM will be 16 GB, 32 GB, good CPU processors and all those things, right? So uh, this load generator is a component which is primarily responsible for simulating the virtual users for us. Okay, so you need not bring the real users for us. You need not bring real users and test. You can use load generator component to simulate the virtual users. Okay, now you have users ready. When you have users ready, what is that you test on the bank application? What is that you test on the bank application? So I told you just now that there might be different functionalities or workflows or scenarios. Let's say transfer money is one important scenario of a bank application. Maybe download statement. Obviously, most of them will download statement. Maybe pay credit card bill or loan, whatever it is one of the key one of the important feature of a bank application. So what will these users test? These users, okay, these virtual users, let's say 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000, whatever it is. What will these users do? They have to test these features, okay, and tell how the performance is like, right? So these features, how we have to test? So we need to have some scripts. We need to have some scripts ready, which will execute these functionalities for us. You cannot do it manually, right? You cannot do it manually because we are simulating the users. So those users should go and execute these scripts for us, these important scripts for us. So how do you generate the scripts? How do you record the scripts? How do you generate or how do you create the scripts? So for these functionalities, if you want to record the scripts, then you need to have one component called Vusion. So this Vusion is primarily responsible for creating or generating or recording the scripts for these sort of important functionalities. For transfer money, I will generate one script. For download statement, I will generate or create or record one script. For paying credit card bill, I will create one script. So I will need I need to have these scripts ready with me. Okay, so we have load generator, which is responsible for simulating virtual users. We have Vugen, which is responsible for creating the scripts, okay, for the important business scenarios. And when you have the scripts ready, you need to have one platform where you can run these scripts. Of course, these scripts are there, but you need to run these scripts somewhere, right? When I say run, you need to trigger the execution from somewhere. Okay, why we need to execute? When you execute, then only you will come to know, right, whether the performance is good or performance is bad, or whether how these scenarios are working, whether the user is able to transfer money within 2 seconds or not, whether the user is able to download statement in 2-3 seconds or not, whether the user is able to pay credit card bill in 2-3 seconds or not, right? So when you have the scripts ready, you need to have some component which is primarily responsible to trigger the execution. Okay, so these scripts, whatever you develop, right, you upload from this component to this component and trigger the execution. So we trigger the execution from these component called either controller or performance center. We can call with any name. Okay, now when you trigger the execution from this controller or performance center, now let's say the execution is completed. Now you need to analyze the results, right? Of course, you tested with some number of users, okay, with some functionalities, and you need to analyze the results. So there should be some component which will analyze the results for us. Okay, that component is called analysis. Analysis is a very important, very good component within the architecture. Okay, which will the primary responsible of analysis component is to provide the detailed metrics, whether the performance improved, how the application responded, which functionalities performance was degraded. Okay, so all these primary things the analysis component will take care of. So load generator is primarily responsible for simulating virtual users. Vugen is primarily responsible for generating the scripts. Controller or performance center is primarily responsible for triggering the execution. Analysis is primarily responsible for providing detailed reports or detailed metrics, detailed graphs. Okay, for uh, for our analysis, so once you get the reports, you will analyze it on your own and send a detailed report to client or the application team or the development team. Hey, transfer money, there were no issues. We could see some issues in download statement. The statement was getting downloaded in 20 seconds. Okay, ideally it should have been downloaded in 4 to 5 seconds, but it is taking 20 seconds. Like that, we will come to know like which features worked well, which features had some performance issues, and so on. So these are the major components of load runner architecture. Okay, there is some other component called agent process, which we will discuss later in our upcoming session, which is uh, which acts like a bridge between this controller and load generator. So we will discuss that later. So on a high level, the primary components of the load runner architecture are load generators, Vugen, controller and performance center, analysis. Okay, so this is how the load runner architecture will be. Now, when you install load runner, when you install the standalone load runner in your machine, you will get Vugen automatically installed. You will get controller or performance center automatically installed. You will get analysis automatically installed. You will get this agent process also, okay, within that. And then this load generator, your personal laptop can act as your load generator machine. Your personal laptop can also act as your load generator machine. So with this setup, we can go ahead and learn load runner tool. Okay, so this is about the architecture. So if you have any questions, you can make a note of it. We can discuss at the end of the session. Okay, so this is our load runner architecture, guys. Now, the next concept is, in next 5 to 10 minutes, we will record a small script. So in this architecture, what is the component using which I can create or record a script? Okay, Vugen. right? So this Vusion is a component which is responsible for creating or recording a particular feature, right? So that particular thing we will quickly see practically, okay? And then go to the course content. So one second. So here, let me close this. Okay. So one second, guys. So I'm going to launch Vusion. So if I just type Vusion in the search, right, you'll get this virtual user generator. If you click on it, it will automatically launch Vusion, which is a component responsible for creating the scripts or recording the scripts or generating the scripts, whatever you call it as. It is loading, it is starting the Vusion component. Okay, you see this component launched. Now, when you launch the component, it will look something like this. So here, what you need to do is, so before explaining you, okay. So when you see this screen, you need to click on File and go to New Script and Solution, because we are going to develop or create or generate a new script for some of the feature. Okay, so create a new script. Okay, and here you need to choose this protocol called web http html. So all the web based applications primarily work on this protocol, web http html. So you see that http https on the address bar, right? So those those kind of web applications primarily work on this protocol called web http html. Okay, so here in this, so we have to give this location. So let me create a new location. So maybe I will create a new folder for you guys. So let's say, okay. So I created a new folder, 8 a.m. September. So in this particular location, I'm going to save the script. So the name of the script, let's say I'm going to give it as demo. Okay. So the protocol, what I selected, this one, and I have updated the path. I've given some script name and just click on create button. Okay. No need to do anything else as on today. So you click on create. When you click on create, your screen will look something like this. Okay, so this is where your script will be generated. This is a solution explorer where you have different options to play around the scripts. Okay, so this option is when you click on it, it will allow you to record the flow. Whatever the flow you want to record, it will allow you to record the flow. Okay, we will click on that button in some time. But before that, what is the feature that we are going to record now? What is the feature that we are going to record now? Just now, we have seen this sample website, right? So this web tours, right? This URL, whatever I'm using, this is a sample URL or a sample application provided by the Micro Focus itself. Micro Focus is the vendor who is the owner of the LoadRunner tool, right? So they have given us this sample URL, sample application. So what I'm going to record now is I will basically launch this sample application and then log into the sample application and then log off to the sample application. Now, what is that we are trying to do? We are trying to record or generate a script for these three steps. For these three steps. And when we run it, we will come to know how much time launch is taking, how much time login is taking, how much time log off is taking. Okay, so now these three steps we are going to record now. Okay, so let me close this browser, or in fact I need not close it also. That should be fine. So go to Vusion. So I told you, right, this is the icon what I need to use. Okay, what I need to click for recording. So let me click on that. When I click on it, you will see a window over here. This window. Okay, new pop-up window. Now you can ignore this option for time being. In our upcoming sessions, we'll see. Here you can see what is the browser that you want to use for recording. See, you have Internet Explorer, Firefox, Edge, Chrome. So which browser you want to use for recording, you have to choose from here. So let's say I will choose Chrome now. Okay, here you need to give the URL what you want to test. That means the application what you want to test. For example, you are testing a bank application. So let's say your bank is abcbank.com. So you have to write https://abcbank.com, some URL, whatever they give, your project team will have. That URL you need to give here. So this sample application URL I have given here. So from here only I copied. See, this URL only I copied from here, and I have pasted here like this. Simple. Okay, and then don't do anything else. Just click on start recording for now. Just click on start recording. When you click on start recording, what will happen? This browser will be launched with this given URL. You got it? When you start recording, this Chrome will be launched with this given URL. Okay, and before launching Chrome, if any of the other Chrome instances are already open, it will close it. Okay, so let me start recording. When I click on start recording, it is asking or showing a pop-up that there are some running instances of Chrome which must be closed before recording. So if you click on OK, what it will do? It will automatically close the existing Chrome browsers, and it will launch a new Chrome session with the given URL, whatever the URL we have provided, right? With that URL, it will launch the Chrome browser. Now you see the Chrome browser is being launched. You see. Now you see the Chrome browser launched, okay? And then it is hitting that URL also, localhost 1080 webtools index.hm, the sample URL. And then you'll also see this movable window here, a kind of movable window, okay? This is a movable window, guys. Okay, you'll see this movable window also. Now in this movable window, you'll see some number here which keeps on increasing. Okay, as and when the page loads, you will see this number keeps on increasing, which is actually a good sign. If the number is increasing, it means that this LoadRunner or the ViewGen tool or the ViewGen component or the LoadRunner tool is actually able to record the application successfully, is able to capture the request successfully. That means it is this ViewGen or the LoadRunner is able to interact with the this URL successfully. When you see this number keeps on increasing, it's a good sign. Okay, now here there are so many options, guys. Stop recording, pause recording, cancel recording, and all. But today we will discuss these two options only for now. Okay, because this is just a demo, right? So these two options we'll discuss, important ones. Why these two options are, we will see in some time. So first option, this one is insert start recording. This option says insert start transaction. Insert start transaction. Why it is important means you want to know how much time it is taking for login, how much time it is taking for log off, right? When you execute when you run the script again, you have to know clearly how much time it is taking for login, how much time it is taking for log off, and so on. For that, I need to clearly mention where I have to start login and where I have to end login. Then only it will be able to calculate correctly. See, I want to execute one step or I want to record one step. I have to tell ViewGen that where I'm starting that step and where I'm ending that step, so that when it runs again, it will calculate how much time it is taking exactly. So first I will tell ViewGen where I'm starting and what is that I'm starting. So here I'm going to click on this insert start transaction, and I'm going to say that now I'm going to perform login transaction, login action. Okay, now I'm going to perform login action. See, the name of the action that I'm going to perform is login, right? Because the application is already launched, right? So the next thing what I have to do is I have to enter username, password, and click on login button. That is the login feature. So that's the reason the transaction I'm going to start is login. Okay, so the name I have given is login and click on OK. Click on OK. Now go ahead and enter username and password. Okay, username and password, click on login button. You have to perform the real action now. Okay, you have to enter username, password, and click on login button, and just wait until it navigates to home page. I see, ideally ideally it should navigate quickly, but it is little bit slow today, maybe because I didn't restart the machine for since last few days and so on. Okay, so you see the application, it's almost navigating to home page, and you see the number also increasing, which is a good sign. Okay, now you have to wait for at least 4 or 5 seconds before you perform the next action. Okay, so you have to wait for 4 to 5 seconds before you perform the next action, guys. Okay, very important. Okay, now what should I do here? So the login is done, right? So what should I do is I should go ahead and end this particular transaction. Whatever the transaction we started, right? That login transaction I have to end here. I have to click and end because login is done. Login is done. What is the next step? What is the next step that we actually planned? Log off, right? So start a new transaction, log off or sign off, whatever it is. And then go ahead and click on this sign off button. Go ahead and click on this sign off button. Sign off. That means you are logging out of the application. And then when you sign out successfully, you end this particular transaction also. You end this particular transaction also. Okay. You see that the sign out happened successfully, and I'm going to end the transaction. Log off. I'm going to end this transaction. Log off. Now, what are the steps I wanted to record? I recorded successfully. Now I'm going to click on this button called stop recording. Stop recording. So what will happen when I click on stop recording? The ViewGen is generating the script for us. The ViewGen is generating the script for us. Okay. So whatever the steps that we recorded, right? It is generating the code. It is generating the script for us. Okay. So where can you see that? Go to this action, or you can go to this action where we actually recorded. So if you go to the tab, you will see the script which got recorded successfully. You see that this is the code which got recorded. How many lines? Approximately 50 lines of code, 50 lines of script got generated. Now you have to see one important thing. If you see line number 18, line number 18 says, LR underscore start underscore transaction login. So you remember during recording, I clicked on insert start transaction, and I entered login, right? That step belongs to here. And what did I do after that? Immediately I went ahead and entered username and password on the application, and I clicked on login, right? So that request is this one. You see the username what I entered, the password what I entered, the username what I entered, the password what I entered, right? And then you see after that I ended that particular transaction. For that thing you are seeing this code LR underscore end underscore transaction, right? So here you started a transaction called login, and then this code belongs to login, and then this is where you are ending the login. Okay, then if you see line number 41, this is where we are starting the log off transaction, and this code belongs to log off, and this is where you are ending the log off transaction. You are ending the log off transaction. So whatever the code that you are seeing between start transaction and end transaction, that code belongs to log off here. Now this is the code belongs to log off, right? Now you see from here to here, this code belongs to login. Okay, login. Okay, if you scroll up further, okay, can anyone tell what is this code then? Can anyone tell what is this code?
This is like the URL or no?
Yeah, so it is launching of the application. It is basically launching of the application. So, but one thing, if you observe clearly, for launching of the application, I do not have any start transaction, LR underscore start transaction, and LR underscore end transaction like this. Why? Because as and when you click on start recording, see here you have this option, right? Here, as and when I clicked on the start recording button, right? This browser automatically launched with this given URL, isn't it? That's the reason I did not get a chance to insert any start transaction for launch nor end transaction for launch. Okay, it automatically generated this particular, it automatically launched the application. However, no need to worry. You can write your own LR start transaction and transaction for this. You see, I can write on my own LR underscore start underscore transaction. That means I'm telling that I'm going to start the login transaction, launch transaction here. In double quotes, I need to write launch. So what does this mean? This means that I'm going to start a launch transaction here. Where should I end? Can anyone tell what is the line number that I can end this particular transaction? Can anyone tell which line number I can end?
After line
After
last.
14, yes, you can end this particular transaction. So here at line number 15 or 16, you can write LR underscore end underscore transaction. Okay, LR underscore end underscore transaction. So here, whatever the name that you have given in the start transaction, the same name you should pass here also. Otherwise, you'll get error. Exactly, it should be same. There should not be any change, because if it has to track how much time it is taking to execute, it should know where it is starting and where it is ending, right? So that's the reason the names what you are giving here and here both should be same, right? So here I'm giving the same name, and just you need to pass one more thing called LR underscore auto. So I will explain you in the upcoming sessions like what is LR underscore auto, but basically it is responsible to confirm whether it's a pass or fail or something like that. Now our script is almost ready for just to run again. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this. Okay, before running this, I need not change anything actually, not required. But anyways, not required. So I will run this now. Okay, how to run this? I have this run icon over here in the menu bar. We have this run icon. When you run, okay, you see what is the result that we get. Okay, I just clicked on run, it executed. Okay, it executed. Now, what exactly it is trying to give the information to us at a high level here? So here, if you see, launch passed, login passed, log off passed. Okay, the reason why it is passed, why it did not fail, whatever it is, we'll discuss later. But now it is showing as pass, and you see clearly here, launch has taken 0.584 seconds, login has taken 0.182 seconds, log off has taken 0.314 seconds. So when I run the script just once, okay, with one user, so it is taking, launch has taken 0.584 second, login has taken 0.182 second, log off has taken 0.314 second. And here you are able to see the complete script for this. Okay, so now I'm sure you might have got some idea about what is this component all about and how to simply record the script. Yes, we have to do some enhancements. We have to do some enhancements for this. Okay, what are those enhancements? Okay, what are the concepts that we have to implement when after recording the script? Those are all we have to cover in our upcoming sessions. Okay, so now according to this agenda, we have completed what is performance testing, what is this LoadRunner architecture all about, a small example of how to record the scripts and run. And now, as of now, if you have any questions, make a note at your end, and we can discuss at the end for sure, or you can paste it in the chat window. I'll address all the questions one by one later. Now, the very important thing again is the course content and course duration or whatever it is. So I will open some slides where we'll discuss about the LoadRunner course content. Okay, so this is the course content starting slide. Okay, so first we will begin with architecture basics, guys. I'll just brief you about this course content. If you have any questions, you can ask me later. So architecture, we'll start with architecture, introduction to performance testing, then performance testing life cycle, and then within and after that, very important concepts, these four document based concepts, very important from interview perspective also. Okay, then we'll cover these things, and then we'll see introduction to LoadRunner, and then we'll see installation, components, what are the important features of Vuegen tool. Okay, And then best scripting practices in Vusion. Okay, of course everyone will record, but after recording, how do you make that script according to the industry standard? What are the best scripting practices that we will see? And then when you run it, what are the different runtime settings you need to learn? Okay, then you have some concepts. Okay, important concepts like HTML versus URL based recording, some checkpoints. Checkpoints, you might know, like they are kind of assertions. For example, you click one button and you go to the next page. How are you confirming that you went to the next page successfully? How do you confirm that you navigated from one page to another page successfully? Okay, by learning, by implementing these checkpoints. Okay, then the very important thing again is introduction to C language here. So the most commonly frequently asked question during my every demo since last so many years is that how much of coding is required, or how much of coding knowledge is required to learn LoadRunner. So I would definitely not say that we don't need any coding as such, but we need only basics, guys. Very basics. Trust me, only very basics. Okay, we need not learn at least 10%, at least 5% of what the developers learn. Okay, that's what I can assure you. Okay, so the very basics, what I mean here is like what are variables, data types, if statements, loops, select case statements, functions. As and this is enough. Okay, it will hardly take so if you see, I don't know how, I have never seen any LoadRunner course covering C language, but uh, I want my participants to learn C language basics properly, so that they will be able to write their own customized code, customized script according to their application requirement. So we have four to five sessions on this C language basics, where we learn all the important initial concepts, okay, which are very important for interview, and also to write your own custom code. Okay, so we have a separate 4 to 5 sessions for this. Okay, so after this, we will go further and see some C language, not C language generally, basically some LR functions, LoadRunner functions. Okay, we will learn some LoadRunner functions. And then a couple of things what we have to learn is how do you read data from a file? How do you write data from a file? Basically, it's a small thing, only a 3 to 4 lines of code, hardly. You can remember it, that should be fine. So it is the concept is important. Like how do you read data from a file? How do you write data to a file? Okay, reading data from file, writing data to a file. Okay, so that thing also we will learn. And then what are the real-time challenges in scripting? So when you attend any interview, right, what happens is they will ask you some questions like, hey, okay, I agree that you have been working on LoadRunner since last 2 to 3 years. Can you tell me what are the real-time challenges you faced, or what are the challenges you faced during in your scripting in the last 2 to 3 years, or on the projects that you have worked, what are the challenges you faced? So we will learn to address those questions, okay, practically also. Okay, and then this is one of the important concept called correlation, which we will learn for 4 days, I guess. Okay, very important. Without this concept, uh, you'll not be able to develop the complete scripts. Okay, especially in the web protocol, this concept is very important, and without this you cannot say that I know scripting. It's that important. It's a simple concept only, but uh, it's important. Then you have parameterization. So parameterization is all about passing input to your scripts. You have your script ready, but you need to pass some input to the script, right? That means you need to pass some test data, right? You need to pass some input. So that related concepts are called parameterization. Okay, then you have controller. So till here the scripting will be completed, guys. So till here, one second. So till here the scripting part will be completed. From here the execution will pick. The execution will start. That means by this point you will learn how to do scripting for sure. Okay, and then once you know what is scripting, once you develop scripts, you will upload those scripts into this controller by learning the controller concepts. Okay, then once you learn controller, in this controller you will create different types of scenarios. Like in performance testing, there will be different types of tests, like load test, stress test, endurance test, like that. So we have to create different types of tests, so that we will do in controller. So we will see how to create different scenarios and so on. Then you have analysis. Obviously, when you run a performance test, you have to analyze the results. This is very, very important, because based on these results only, you have to inform your client or the development team that whether the application performance improved or it is degraded or it has gone worse. Right? So that analysis part, these concepts will be included, very, very important. Then you have these things: analyzing results and providing observations, and drafting email with all observations to client. See, generally you don't find this anywhere in Google for sure, to be frank. See, generally what happens is when you execute a performance test, you have to provide all your observations to client, isn't it? So for that you need to draft an email, clear email. Okay, so how the test went well or test went wrong, something went wrong. If something went wrong, what was the issue? What are the different metrics you observed? Okay, all the important points you need to draft and send an email to client. So that email also we will learn. That means learn in sense, I'll tell you clearly. I will draft an email with all the inputs, like after running the test, what are the important points that you need to mention in your email? Okay, that thing also we will cover as part of this course. And then interview question answers will be discussed for a couple of days, for a couple of sessions. And then I will also provide you some document like, like this, like all the question and answers document like this. Okay, so so this document will help you in preparing for interview. So it has all the question and answers, question answer, like that. So this document I will be giving you. So before attending the interview, I suggest you to go through that document and then attend the interview. Okay, then the main aspect of LoadRunner course, or in fact any tool, is scripting only. So the more you master the scripting, the more easy it will be for you to get onto the job and start working in your project without any major hurdles. Okay, so scripting is primary thing. So most of the guys will get stuck in scripting only. Execution and analysis everyone can learn in nothing, in no time. Scripting is something which will take time to learn. So the more applications you practice, the more confident you will be for your interviews or whatever it is. So that's the reason we will be practicing on 4 to 5 applications for sure in our course. Okay, so different types of applications which are having different kinds of challenges, right? That's the reason. And then we will discuss some important concept called virtual table server. Okay, so that thing also we'll cover. Then you have these bonus topics also as part, which are covered as part of this course, which is called as Fiddler and HAR file scripting, APM tools introduction. APM means application monitoring tool. Okay, and then you have this AppDynamics session, 1 or 2 sessions on AppDynamics. Very important because nowadays, along with one of the tool like LoadRunner or Jmeter, they are expecting you to know at least one APM tool like AppDynamics or Dynatrace. So for that, I want my participants to know at least what is AppDynamics and what are the different information that we gather or collect from this AppDynamics tool during our performance test. Okay, then I will give you my insights about Jenkins, which is one of the CI/CD tool, and how Jenkins is going to be used in your future projects. Okay, maybe in future. Now it's there in very few projects, but in future you might use Jenkins in your project. So why Jenkins can be used, how performance testing is related to Jenkins, I will tell you. I will take one session on that. Okay, basically in that only we will see how to trigger local LoadRunner scenarios which are in local from Jenkins. Okay, and then we have one more session on true client, which is a different protocol. Okay, which is a different protocol altogether. we have a separate session for learning true client protocol as well. And then, as I said, now the performance testing interviews are, uh, you know, and then at the next level. That means they are asking some concepts which are, outside of tool also. So I want my participants to know at least some of the things which are outside of the tool. That means outside of LoadRunner tool, there are something else which we need to understand or learn. Okay, so I want my participants to have some idea or knowledge about it. So that's the reason I'm going to take some session about thread dumps and heap dumps, and some session on load balancer algorithm discussion. Some again important session on garbage collection mechanism. Discussion on garbage collection mechanism. Okay, so these are some of the bonus topics which are outside of LoadRunner tool. Okay, and then you will be provided a recorded sessions of web services protocol along with this course. Okay, so those recorded sessions will be like 3 to 4 hours. Very important, because some of the applications are not UI based, right? Some might be a web services or a REST APIs, right? So recorded sessions of 3 to 4 hours will be provided for the web services to you guys. So at a high level, this is about the course content, guys. Okay, so now I will open the session for Q&A. First, what I will do is I will take all the questions from chat window, and then I will inform you once the questions are done. I'll inform you. You can ask me directly. One second. Let me open the chat window. Okay. So here, let me take the question. Uh, Shansha, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we can connect later. Yeah. Okay. Shiva, thank you. We can connect later. Yes, Shiva is not there, but Shiva was asking performance testing contains any scripting. Yes, I told you, right? Some basics of C language we will learn in 4 days, 4 days, I guess. After that, you will feel confident about how can you write your own custom code. Okay, Durgesh, so this tool work only on C language or any other language also? See, this tool will support C language and JavaScript. However, we will focus on C language because uh, that's the language support what we have since so many years. And why we will continue to use that is because in real-time projects also 99% of the projects are still using C language only, first thing. And the reason for that is, for all the issues that we get for C language, uh, in any forum or any support forums, you have the answers for each and every small thing. Whatever you get in LoadRunner, you have the solution. Okay, when it is connected to the C language support. So that's the primary reason that why the current performance testers and are still working with C language. And also something like, for example, you are 4 or 5 team members in your project. Now 3 members are developing their scripts with the help of C language support. Now you alone are developing, JavaScript. Okay, let's say assume JavaScript. Because JavaScript, you wanted to take JavaScript support as for recording the script or customizing the script. Okay, you can do it. But what happens is, maybe let's say next you developed all the scripts through JavaScript support and all. Maybe let's say next month you move to some other project, and let's say it is assigned to someone else who is good in C language support. But they might face some problems in immediately fixing or maintaining your scripts. So you should follow some uniformity. The entire team should follow some uniformity. And as on today, the current situation, we all have been still using the C language only. Okay, so because we have solutions for all the issues related to the C language support in various forums, across the internet. That is one of the primary reason. Deepthi, course duration. See, basically, when this course started, right, long back, few years ago, at least when I started taking few years ago, with Isha. I mean, with Isha Training Solutions. It started with 30 hours session. I think 30 hours. Okay. Now it is because the outside market is something different now. They are expecting us to have some additional knowledge apart from LoadRunner tool. Okay. So I gave you some bonus topics content, right? So something related to that. So for that reason, our course content has been increased to uh, approximately 45 sessions. Okay, approximately 43, 44, 45 sessions it will come. Okay, so the course the sessions are daily from Monday to Friday. Okay, weekends what we will do is I will take some additional session. Okay, weekend session in sense weekend morning times, right? So whenever uh, we are okay, I'll just inform you to connect, every one of you connect if you are having some scripting queries or scripting doubts or anything related to that. Okay. Yes, Sainath. All the recorded sessions will be provided in the same day. Yes. In sense, today's recorded session will be provided on the same day itself. Let's say our session is from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning, right? So mostly by 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. in the afternoon, you will get the recorded session. Okay, so you can go through that. It will be there with you for lifetime.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. Hi, this is Fazal here.
Yes, Fazal,
Yeah,
please.
I didn't get your name. Sorry.
Krushik, yeah.
Krishik. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Krishik, for the session. It was really wonderful, and it was very easy for me to understand that.
thank you,
And
Krushik.
my question is like the demo session is from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. for 2 days.
Hmm.
After which, what would be the timings? So I just really wanted to know.
Same time.
Same time.
Yeah,
Acha,
same
so
time.
then I have to manage. Okay, okay. No, that is my son's schooling time. So that is what I was just
Yeah,
taking after demo. Also, is there any
yeah. So
changes?
generally, if something happens like that, generally what we do is we will give the recorded session on the same day itself. So whenever you are free, you can go through the recorded session immediately, and you can ping me anytime. See, generally what happens in live session, I'll tell you. I
Same
will
day
take
itself.
this, right? So I will take this session in live. If
Yeah,
anyone is having doubts, they will ask in the
yeah.
live session itself. That's what happens.
Okay.
But in your case, what you can do is you can go through the recorded session whenever you
Okay.
are free on the remaining day, and once you go through the session, you will have one or two questions, right?
Okay.
So you ping me directly in the WhatsApp. I'll call you and
Yeah,
explain
yeah.
same day itself.
Sure,
Okay, in that
definitely.
way it
That
will be
is
easy
great.
for you. Yeah, because we most of us
Sure.
are working, right? So we have to manage little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
No, no, definitely I can understand, Krishik. Nothing. I just wanted to make sure that, so that we, fix certain timings and we go ahead with the trainings.
Exactly.
Sign up. So we got your contact, right? Like it will be shared from the.
No, I will be there in the WhatsApp group. I will ping you guys in the group. You can just save my number. You
Okay.
can ping me directly if you have any questions, or you can ping me in the group anytime. Okay. And which protocol? Sainath is asking which protocols will be covered. See, for your interview, performance testing interview, they will expect at least two protocols from you guys. So web HTTP HTML is the primary protocol what everyone should learn, because all our applications are web-based applications, right? So that will be supported by web HTTP HTML protocol. So we will cover that, and then we will also cover the true client protocol. We have some sessions, right, on true client protocol, and also the recorded sessions for web services protocol will also be there. So you will have three protocols in place, so which is more than enough for your interview. Okay, so Vamsi Krishna is asking a good question. So difference between performance tester and a performance engineer. So generally, a performance tester, the role of the performance tester is to identify the performance issues, or you can call them as performance bottlenecks. So primary focus will be on finding the performance issues, like any performance degradation or whatever it is. There might be some other performance issues also, which we'll discuss in detail later. But the primary focus is that. But whereas the performance engineer, okay, is one step ahead, who will not only identify the performance issues, but also provide some inputs, like in finding the solution to the identified issue. So the performance engineer can go to any level, okay, and provide the inputs, okay, in fixing the performance issue. Like the performance engineer can know exactly where the issue is coming up, and they can work with developer, and and taking the performance issue to closure, right? So performance engineer will always be one step ahead. Now the career will always start from performance tester for everyone, including me. It started with performance tester only. Slowly, one by one. So performance tool we have learned, one APM tool we have learned, right? So within performance tool, one or two protocols we have covered, right? And then slowly, if you are interested, you can learn little bit of SQL. Okay, I'm telling, if you want to become a performance engineer, right? If you want to become a performance engineer, little bit of SQL you can learn, little bit of core Java if you want, you can learn, or right, little bit of understanding what is a class, what is a method, okay, from the coding concepts you can learn. So which will take you close to the performance engineer, okay, performance engineer. So that doesn't mean that you will write the code. That doesn't mean that you will write the development code. It's all depends on the project. And being in IT, learning is a continuous activity, right? So whatever we used to work as a performance tester around 4 or 5 years ago, it's not the same now. It's totally different, right? That's the reason these bonus topics are coming into picture. Otherwise, these bonus topics are not at all required, right? Just for our understanding. Okay. So nowadays the things are changing, right? So we have to learn accordingly. Designations are same only, Vamsi. Designation wise, both are same. The way we work, there will be a slight difference. Slight difference. So I'll tell you what is happening currently. Even though the role is for a performance engineer, 90% of the performance projects in real time, they do only performance testing. Trust me. Okay, I've been seeing the same. I'm telling you again, 90% of the designations they say performance engineer, but the more of a role, the more task will be related to performance tester only in your actual projects. Okay, so no need to worry on that. So, but you need to know the difference for sure, at least for interview perspective. That's the reason that question is always there here. Somewhere it will be there, that question. What is the difference between performance tester and engineer? Somewhere the question will be definitely there here. I don't know where it. See here. See, it's there. Okay, that is also one of the interview question only, right? Okay, so let me take the next question. Neha, we cannot change the time, but you can ask in the group. Okay, you can ask in the group, if anyone is, if most of you guys are willing to change by 8:30 or 8 or something like that, or 7:30 or 8 or 8:30, whatever it is. See, but they will fix some time. Generally, what happens is, if 3 or 4 people are, let's say the 3 people are joining the course. So one team member might be suited to one time. The other team member might be suitable for some other time. So they have to see, like, the majority, and they will go according to it. But whoever is having some concern with related to timings, please ping in the group, like whatever you are in currently. Please ping in the group and ask if you can. The Kumar sir will reply on top of it. Okay, so Neha is saying, if you can move 1 hour before, it will be good for US timing. So just ping the same reason in the group, guys. Okay, I'm okay with 1 hour before also, but please ping in the group. Okay, I don't know, like how it will be for other team members, right? It depends on that. Thanks, Aina. Thank you for sure. Shekhar, no, mobile protocol will not be covered, but generally what happens is, Isha Training Solutions, they conduct some workshops. So generally, if there is any workshop related to mobile performance testing, I'll definitely let you know. Okay, which is free, like everyone can attend. But it happens sometimes. Whenever it happens, during our course content or whenever it is, they will inform everyone. Okay, so we can join that and learn that also. Okay, thanks Vamsi Krishna. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Okay, I'm okay to take the questions directly now. I think I answered all the questions from the chat window. Any other questions? I still have some time, like 5 minutes.
Sorry, quick question. I saw in the protocols, there is multiple protocols recording. Will we go over that? There's a single protocol and also multiple protocols.
They see actually why LoadRunner is. I told you one reason why LoadRunner is a benchmark tool in the market. The one of the reason is it supports more number of protocols when compared to other tools in the market. So even though there are so many protocols, primarily the web protocol is important, because this web protocol will work for almost all the web applications. But for some applications, there might be some applications like SAP, SAP, SAP applications. So we have a separate protocol for SAP. Okay, so you need to learn that protocol for if you want to work on SAP applications. So if you want to connect to some ODBC driver or some database connections, you have some ODBC protocol. But what happens is you can do the same task in web protocol also, like connecting to database and all those things. You can do it in web protocol also. At the end of the day, these protocols are just here in case if something is not working through web protocol. There are some other additional protocols which you can try, or you can try the combination also. Like the combination means the web protocol and like some Java protocol. Like you can try the combination of multiple protocols also. It's all about which protocols the developers have implemented, okay, in their project. What is the communication mechanism they have implemented while developing the project? According to that, we have to choose the protocol. But as I said again, 90% of the projects, web applications, they work on the web protocol for sure. Okay, no worries, no worries in that. But and the from interview perspective, we have to learn at least 2 to 3 protocols, which we are already covering. Okay, so if you go through any job description, okay, kindly go through the job description today, whoever is free. If you see the job description, they will always clearly say the candidate must know web protocol, true client protocol, web services protocol. These three will be more or less mandatory everywhere. Okay, somewhere or the other, like 1%, 2% or 3%, you might see SAP protocol or something, for which you can join, you can learn separately. Okay, but the other protocols what you are seeing on the UI, those won't be mentioned directly, because those are just supported protocols. You can work with combination of web. Okay, so that should not have any impact from interview perspective or job selection perspective or our real-time work perspective. Sanam is asking why we go for LoadRunner tool only, not Jmeter, and Jmeter is open source. Sanam, LoadRunner and Jmeter both are most widely used tools in the market now. Okay, there is no second thought. There are different reasons why we have to go with LoadRunner and why companies are using LoadRunner. So if you see all the major banking and financial institutions, let's say, they give more priority to data security. So their data is very, very, very important. So they prefer the licensed tools because they cannot compromise on data. They cannot directly choose to work on any open source tools and compromise on their data. Okay, so that's the reason they prefer LoadRunner. And the other reason is, I told you, LoadRunner is the only tool in the market which supports more number of protocols. And we have continuous support from LoadRunner support team. For example, if you are not able to record any script, okay, let's say you are not able to record any script, you, in the worst case, you can reach out to the Micro Focus team. They will help you in recording that. But if you see any other open source, you have to search all the forums. Okay, what could be the solution? Okay, there is no direct approach in the open source tools. You always need to depend on some plugins, some jar files, okay, some property files, some third-party tools. Everything is, there is a dependency when you are working with open source. But when it comes to LoadRunner, just install the tool, you open it, just work on it. That's it. No need to go outside of LoadRunner. No need to go outside of LoadRunner, which makes the job easy. Okay, when you compare, I don't know, I mean, it's a debatable thing, but when you compare LoadRunner versus Jmeter, I feel LoadRunner is easy. Okay, that's thing. And as I said, primary reason, the companies, especially the major MNCs, which give more priority to the data, they don't want to compromise. They go for the licensed tools. Okay, and the protocols which are not, some of the protocols which are not supported by Jmeter, the LoadRunner is still supporting. Okay, and usage wise, everything, it's user friendly. LoadRunner is user friendly. Still, it's a debatable topic, Sanam. The guys coming from Jmeter, they have their own version. But again, these two are most widely tools. I'm not saying you should not learn, but my personal suggestion to you guys is learn one tool first. Either you start with LoadRunner or you start with Jmeter. But then once you master one tool, learn the other tool also. Okay, because as I said, learning is a continuous activity. The more number of tools, the more skill set you have, the more easy it will be for you in future. Don't learn both the tools at the same time. I I have my participants. I don't want to take names or anything like that. I told them before the demo itself. So one, in the previous batches, like don't learn both the tools simultaneously, because you will not have the bandwidth or time to practice them. Simply attending sessions doesn't make you learn or master the tool. You need to spend some time for practice, right? So if you learn both the tools parallelly or simultaneously, you won't get time to practice. At the end of the course, what will happen? You will end up learning 25% of LoadRunner, 25% of Jmeter, which is of no use. What you could have done? You could have mastered one tool, okay, and then you could have joined the other tool also later. In that way, you can master 100% one tool and 100% the next tool. Okay, so hope I answered all the questions. So if there are any more further questions, right? So what you can do is you can ping in the group, okay, or you can ping in the group. I'll call you one directly and I'll explain you. Okay, so I'm sure I answered all the questions. So yeah, I answered all the questions from the chat window as well. You can ping in the group for any further questions. So I'm stopping the recording here. You will get this recorded session in some time from now.